the turn number 5, and that was looking fantastic. I believe that was by the likes of Andy Whedon and Paul Nicholls, who at times last year fought very hard, and they're resuming that battle once again.
Will Howarth still leads, 2.1 seconds though. The gap has come down, 4 laps to go. Gotta say, it doesn't look likely like it's going to come down the entire distance, but Ryan Grant now is pulling the pin. He's trying to go with Will Howarth. He's just got to be careful not to make a mistake. We see Will Howarth do that exact thing down at Clay Pigeon. He was pushing too hard, trying to stay with the group he was dicing with, and he crashed out. 2.1 seconds is the gap. Mark Payne and Brandon Payne, a quarter of a second between them. So that is the battle. So we have 2 battles here. A battle for first and second if the gap closes, but we've definitely got a scrap in our hands between third and fourth, Mark and Brandon Payne. The gap across the line. Another fastest lap this time for Ryan Grant. It is down to 1.6 seconds.
It's closing in. They're trying to go side by side, looking one way and then the other. A bit further back, the battle between Mark and Brandon also close over the line. They were 87 thousandths of a second separated. Into turn number 4 though, the second of the right-handers before the big section of hairpins, and Mark using every inch of road he can to defend that place.
Half a second quicker was Ryan Grant than Will Howarth last time around. With 3 laps to go, he's going to make up 1.5 seconds if he continues at that rate. He will not catch Will Howarth. He will be a couple of tenths behind, but a couple of tenths behind is well within range of making a last lap lunge. We'll see what happens. Across the line, the gap this time down to 1 second. He was 0.6 quicker, and another fastest lap this time for Ryan Grant. The gap between third and fourth, well, it's swapped. Brandon Payne is now ahead of Mark Payne, and the gap is just about 1/10, just over a tenth. It really is getting feisty. Behind all that, Marco Pandolfo is in a distant 5th, and by distant I mean he's a bit behind 4th, but he's well ahead of 6th, which is occupied by Matt Birkin. So with about 1.5 laps to go now, the gap, I'd say, visually is closing now. Ryan Grant has got the magnets on.
He's giving it as much as he can get up towards turn number 7, focusing with laser precision. The right-handed turn on towards the back straight, once again curving the final corner. The gap over the line, they're in the tow. It is only 0.4 of a second, getting closer. 0.6 was the difference on that last lap. They're going to try and get as quick as they can, as close as they can through to turn number 2. It was a poor run for Will Howarth, almost going to go side by side at turn 3 though. Not quite close enough to make a move at this stage.
Problem is he's running out of options and time. There's only so many more passing places here, and he's lost one there at turn 5. Turn 6 isn't going to happen, he's not close enough, and turn 7's just desperate anyway. The battle for third is just as hot. We're running out of corners here, and I think Will Howarth has gone a bit wide, but I think he may well have it here on the run to the line. It's going to be just that.
Well, Ryan Grant had to look one way then the other. They go side by side. Is he going to go around the outside? Yes, he does. Great move for Ryan Grant, who moves around the outside, and unbelievably on the last lap used a toe out of turn number 7. The big long run around the outside. Great move for Ryan Grant. And well, the gap 0.4 of a second over the line. That's what a good exit and a good run gets you in this category. Brandon Payne did come over the line in 3rd place ahead of Mark Payne, so that was 3rd and 4th. A great run for those two as well. Marco Pandolfo takes another 5th to add to his first one earlier in the season. Matt Birkin was 6th ahead of Paul Nicholls and Andy Whedon. In 9th place is Bernie Hook. Chris Yeomans takes 10th ahead of Guy Osgoby and Simon Huntingford, with Ross Michael and Josh Birkin 13th and 14th. Senior Mini Motos never disappoint, but a last lap gasp at the last corner around the outside, the left-handed side of the corner. That does take some guts, Kiko.
It does indeed. It's all about the run though. Sometimes, because Ryan Grant went round the outside, you know, he's opened the corner up so he can carry more speed through it, and that's exactly what he did. Will Howarth, a hearty second. What does he have to do to win a race in this class this year? I do not know. It was the Paynes in 3rd and 4th. What a race that was, and if they're going to do that for the remaining 2 races of their category, it's going to be fun indeed.
Well, plenty of action still to come here. Round 3 of the 2018 Coll FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships, live from Tattershall in Lincolnshire.
original and best British championships for mini bikes. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Race 1 for the Junior LC40 Elites is about to get underway. Casey O'Gorman and Emmanuel Brinton start on the front row of the grid ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell and Ollie Walker, with Josh Bannister and Mason Foster 5th and 6th. James Cook and Johnny Garnes 7th and 8th. 9th and 10th goes the way of Sullivan Mounsey, and then it will be Ryan Hitchcock. So a very close qualifying, going to be a close race and plenty of action up and down the field. Bailey Stewart Campbell in 3rd leads the championship by 38 points ahead of Casey O'Gorman and Emmanuel Brinton. So could this be the one where Casey starts to close in on the rest of the field, try and get a few more points on the board? And as we get ready for a race start, everyone giving a hand on the grid. A lovely and warm sunny Tattershall in Lincolnshire, and a big thanks as ever to the marshals and everyone else who helps to run the Cool Fab Racing series. Without it, we couldn't do it with your guys' help, and giving some great help as ever. We are about to get underway. The flag will be pulled up in just a moment. Everyone off the grid, getting ready. You can feel the tension in the air as these guys and girls get ready for a great race start. Running up towards turn number 1, the start line very close to the first turn. The green flag will go up, ready for a race start, then it drops very quickly, and Casey O'Gorman off the front row of the grid on the inside line takes a good start, but Emmanuel Brinton uses the outside line to much better effect, and a great run through turn number 2 ensures that at least through the first portion of this lap he will have the lead. Casey O'Gorman did enough to try and get it to turn 1 first, but couldn't quite find the grip to keep it there. Not only that, but Bailey Stewart Campbell is right on the heels at the moment, so a very close fight for 3rd place already through turns 4, 5 and 6. Left, right, left, the hairpins once again, and Casey O'Gorman, you might have thought he would get a slightly easier start, but Bailey Stewart Campbell is going to give it everything up towards the second last corner, turn number 7 for the first time out of 10 through the final corner. And well, Emmanuel Brinton, great start. Bailey Stewart Campbell keeping it clean at the moment, edging, maybe having a look at the inside at turn 1. Does think better about it, but this is a crucial moment, I suppose, for Casey.
Big battle there. Bailey Stewart Campbell had a huge look up the inside of Casey O'Gorman at turn 2, couldn't quite make it work. Ollie Walker and Johnny Garnes have latched onto the back of this leading trio. It is now a 10-wheeler at the front of this field, and this is what we've come to see in the Junior LC40 Elite. Riders developing as the year goes on. Ollie Walker and Johnny Garnes right in the mix, but Emmanuel Brinton leads this race so far.
But coming under immense pressure from the number 7, Casey O'Gorman looks towards the right-hand side of the circuit, the inside line at the final corner, but Bailey Stewart Campbell, a good run off the final corner, having a bit of a look at the inside at turn number 1. Very cheeky, but just saying, look mate, I'm here, I'm going to get past you, it's only going to be a matter of time, you better get out of my way, which is the psychological. It's very good for confidence for these young riders, and Bailey with the fastest lap of 48.563, only a couple of thousandths faster than Casey O'Gorman, but at this early stage that is exactly what you need, just that little bit easier, as the top 3 are fantastic fight so far. Also a good little scrap between Ollie Walker and Johnny Garnes for 4th and 5th.
Casey O'Gorman though is only attacking, and I don't think he realises how close Bailey Stewart Campbell is to him. You know, Bailey Stewart Campbell is not going to muck about here. He's your series leader for a reason. He will push through if he has to. Across the line, Emmanuel Brinton leads Casey O'Gorman. Bailey Stewart Campbell, Ollie Walker and Johnny Garnes are still there as well. 1.6 seconds covers the lead in 5. Mason Foster is 6th. Up the inside at turn 1 goes Johnny Garnes. Ollie Walker looking to fight back into turn 3 but can't do it. So Johnny Garnes is now 4th. That move has just separated Garnes and Walker from that lead in 3, but great battles nonetheless.
And also Mason Foster once again under immense pressure, not for the first time this afternoon of course, and as they make their way through the right and the second of the left-handed hairpins, using all of the road and then just a little bit more, Sullivan Mounsley has passed Josh Bannister for 7th on the last lap and trying to keep that going, keep the position so far. Over the line once again, Bailey Stewart-Campbell very close to the back of O'Gorman, only 0.126 over the line, the gap between the pair of them up towards and through turn 1. Bailey seems to get some fantastic traction on the left on the exit of turn number 1, couldn't quite get it side by side though, and that's what you need at this early stage. But they've run off, they've actually worked quite closely with each other to try and distance themselves. Emmanuel Brinton, Casey O'Gorman and Bailey Stewart-Campbell from 4th, 5th, which has changed now. Johnny Garness ahead of Ollie Walker, and Sullivan Mounsley, the 44, has passed Mason Foster for 6th.
Sullivan Mounsley's having a great weekend in this class. He is now 6th ahead of Mason Foster and Josh Bannister in 8th place. We have across the line Emmanuel Brinton. Look at Bailey Stewart-Campbell here, he's right on the back of Casey O'Gorman. Will he look on the inside at turn 1? Not this time, thinks better of it. What a class race we've got here. 3 of the best riders in this paddock going head to head. We've got 5 laps to go. Big look up the inside for Ollie Walker, couldn't make it work that time.
Fighting very hard, but of course Emmanuel Brinton, Casey O'Gorman and Bailey Stewart-Campbell lead this race ahead of Johnny Garness and Ollie Walker for 4th and 5th. Sullivan Mounsley, Josh Bannister and Mason Foster 6th, 7th, 8th, with Ryan Hitchcock and James Cook the top 10. Harrison Crosby, Troy Jeffrey, Luca Hopkins, Harrison Desoy and Harrison McKay round out the points, whilst Cameron Sewell, Joe Farragher, Clayton Edmonds, Taylor Stewart-Campbell and Lucas Brown round out the top 20. Over the line once again for Bailey Stewart-Campbell, as ever looking and moving towards the right-hand side of the circuit towards turn 1, fighting tooth and nail, side by side. Casey O'Gorman goes quite deep on the exit of turn 1 towards turn 2, invited a look up the inside, does keep the momentum though, so Bailey having to stay in 3rd.
Don't think Casey O'Gorman goes deep. I think he's opening the corner up so he gets a big slingshot into turn 3. That big left-hander turn 2 really opens up the opportunity to ram it down the inside at turn 3, but so far it has not happened for Casey O'Gorman, who is now having to defend himself here from Bailey Stewart-Campbell. They're coming out of the penultimate corner through the long right-hander now that ends this lap. Bailey Stewart-Campbell's building and building all the way down this straight. 3 laps to go. No move this time though. What a race we've got on here. Emmanuel Brinton sets the fastest lap in all of that. He has done a 48.3. The others a 48.4 for O'Gorman, a 48.5 for Bailey Stewart-Campbell. There is absolutely nothing between them.
They were getting very close indeed, and it's interesting how different lines are being used. Casey O'Gorman, the number 7, uses a wider line at turn number 2. We got a yellow flag down at turn number 1, and in fact the red flags are coming out, I believe, at turn 1. So the race being suspended for now as the red flags come out with 6 laps completed. Emmanuel Brinton led the race at the points ahead of Casey O'Gorman and Bailey Stewart-Campbell. Dividers being ushered back towards the paddock, and the marshals going down towards turn number 1. Bringing more information on that as we get it. But 6 laps completed then. There were 3 laps to go as they crossed the line on the last lap. But Emmanuel Brinton led the 93 ahead of Casey O'Gorman and Bailey Stewart-Campbell, with Johnny Garness and Ollie Walker 4th and 5th ahead of Sullivan Mounsley, Josh Bannister, Mason Foster, Ryan Hitchcock and James Cook were the top 10 over the last lap. Harrison Crosby, Troy Jeffrey, Luca Hopkins, Harrison Desoy and Harrison McKay were in the points, whilst Cameron Sewell, Joe Farragher, Clayton Edmonds, Taylor Stewart-Campbell and Lucas Brown were rounded out to the top 20. There may not be an official result, that is how it was as they crossed the line to complete lap number 5 and on lap number 6, but there was some fantastic racing as they were getting through some great battles between O'Gorman and Bailey Stewart-Campbell. As it was happening, it shows just how many different lines you can use on fast parts of the circuit, because O'Gorman was using the right hand as they were going through turn 2, which is the left hand, using the right hand side just a little bit more to keep it tighter into 3, but a bit more momentum through 2 to get into 3 a bit quicker, whereas Bailey used a bit of a more conventional tighter line, which was a bit slower, but then you could turn much quicker and have a lot more speed through three. So it's quite unique as to how these young riders can actually try different things, use different lines, different setups to their advantage, and to understand how the bike will react in certain circumstances. And you know, as an official partner series to the BSB and on the Rotomoto GP, those kinds of techniques are the ones which separate the good riders from the great riders, Kiko.
It was a great race, it really was, boiling up perfectly. I do not know what we're going to do here. They're going back to the paddock area. I think that may well be a result, because the whole field obviously has not come round, because some of them were ushered into the paddock before they were able to go past the entrance to it. So I think, this isn't confirmed, I suspect we have a result here.
We will bring you more information on that result of the first junior LC40 Elite race when we get more information. For now, the marshal's working hard to make sure everything is up to date. But we are here live at Tattershall. You're listening to live coverage of the 2018 Coll FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships, an official partner series to the BSB and on the Rotomoto GP. This is Coll FAB-Racing.
Result then for the junior LC40s. That premature end to the race means Emmanuel Brinton claims his first win under circumstances I'm sure he would rather have not have, but it's a win nonetheless. The 93 then, Emmanuel Brinton wins his first race of the year. Casey O'Gorman second, and Bailey Stewart-Campbell complete what looks to me like the closest podium we've had in the class all year. Johnny Garnis is fourth, Ollie Walker fifth, Sullivan Mounsey with a great ride to sixth. Josh Bannister, Mason Foster, Ryan Hitchcock and James Cook complete the top 10. Harrison Crosby, Troy Jeffrey, Luca Hopkins, Harrison Desoy and Harrison McKay are the other point scorers, whilst Cameron Sewell, Joe Farragher, Clayton Edmonds, Taylor Stewart-Campbell and Lucas Brown complete the field as well. What a race that was, robbed of a grandstand finish, but safety is always paramount here, and we get ready for the next race, which is the Pit Bike 140s and Moto teams. Who's it going to be in this one?
And best British championships for mini bikes. This is Coll FAB-Racing.
The Pit Bike 140s and Moto teams enter the circuit for their green flag lap, with Joshua Watley and Harvey Claridge on the front row ahead of Ian Jackson and Will Howarth, with Jamie King and Sam Clowes lining up next to them alongside Rossi Banham, Sam Clowes, James Concannon and Darren Anderson. That is your top 10. Always a close encounter with the two different categories in this race. Kiko, your thoughts We always see great racing in this category, but what are you expecting to happen?
It's going to be interesting to see whether Joshua Watley and Harvey Claridge will battle this one out, and who, if anyone, can go with them, of course. Will Howarth, we saw him disappointed with that second place earlier on in the senior mini motos. Well, he could be the outright winner today, or he could as well just be the moto team class winner. We'll wait and see. There was just half a second between Watley and Claridge in qualifying. Let's see what the gap is in the race. As tension builds down on the grid, we're ready for a start.
So, hello and welcome to live coverage. Welcome to Coll FAB-Racing Round 3 at Tattershall in Lincolnshire. Some fantastic racing in prospect as a 14-lap race now for the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team racers. Gets ready. Jamie King, the 76, leads the Pit Bike 140 class, and Simon Clowes leads the Moto Teams. Will that change in this race? Let's wait and see. The green flag is being prepared down by turn number 1. A short run towards the tight hairpin at turn 1. The flag drops. A great start from the first row, better start from the second row. In fact, it looked like Will Howarth trying to go side by side up towards turns 1 and 2 though for the first time. And whilst everyone does manage to get through successfully by the end through turns 2 and 3, a great start and a jump. The second row just jumped like a scalded cat off the line.
Jamie King has made that one work. He's into second place and he's holding Harvey Claridge up a bit, and this is allowing Joshua Watley just to break away at the moment. But Jamie King second place, Harvey Claridge third at the moment. They all stream through, few bikes running wide, but everyone safely through,
which is what we like to see. And Joshua Watley got a good start off the front row up towards turn 8, which is the final corner, through the right hander over the line. A good lead already ahead of 76 Jamie King by the tune of 1.6 seconds, which is not bad on an opening lap there for you. But Jamie King really holding up Harvey Claridge.
Harvey Claridge has got through. He rammed it down the inside at turn 1. Block pass on Jamie King. Jamie King left the door open a little bit, I must say, through Harvey Claridge an invitation. So Harvey Claridge then, what's he got here? Will he close down Joshua Watley? Can he get onto terms with him? There are 14 laps of this, so it's a long enough race for them to do so.
Plenty of time in this race to have some great battles already. A little bit further down the order, side by side for the likes of Ian Jackson. Will Howarth is the first of the Moto Team riders, up to 5th, well actually down, but in 5th place so far, over the line for the second time. Starting to get some good laps in. Harvey Claridge through. 1-3-3 of Simon Clowes behind Sam. So 5 and 6 are the Clowes. 31 ahead of 1-3-3. Will Howarth in 7th. James Concannon and Rossi Banham 8th and 9th ahead of Fraser Kinnaird. Then it is Liam Fairbrother and Sean Whittaker making their way already through turns 2. Well, through turns 2 and 3. Through the hairpins, in fact, using all the torque to the advantage.
Joshua Watley has been reeled in a little bit, just about a tenth or so quicker Harvey Claridge on that last lap. If he's that much quicker each lap, he will not catch Joshua Watley. We'll see what the gap is when they cross the line in a moment now. Across the line goes Watley and Claridge. The gap is 1.5, another fastest lap for Harvey Claridge, and in fact a 47.8, so that's a new fastest lap in this race. The only rider in the 47 bracket so far, Harvey Claridge.
Getting very close, a little further back. In fact, it's side by side down at turns 2 and 3. The white bike going all the way around the outside to make up another position. A bit even closer for third place. A great battle between Jamie King, who has to get it stopped on the apex to stop Ian Jackson, the 7 getting past for third place. Through the right, through the second of the left-handers, and Jamie King, the reigning champion so far, defending from Ian Jackson and Sam Clowes.
That's Simon Clowes and Will Howarth, that big battle there, blowing up between 6th and 7th place. It'll be interesting to see if Will Howarth will be able to do anything about that when they come across the line. Harvey Claridge, has he caught Joshua Watley on this lap? We await the time in. Not really, not much. Jamie King run wide on the exit of turn 1. That may cost him a bit of time. He's under attack. Oh, just about holds on ahead of Ian Jackson and Sam Clowes.
Well, Simon Clowes in 6th place so far. Defend very nice indeed from Will Howarth, attacking the 2 Moto Team bikes. going very, very closely indeed to the left-hander at turn number 5, getting it stopped, getting it turned in. One of the Moto Team bikes trying to really hustle the bike over to try and get it moved. You can't move these quite as physically as you can for the pit bike 140s, which have that advantage of just being able to move and have a lot more grunt out of the corners. But the Moto Teams almost go side by side at turn 7. They are side by side outside of turn 7, and through has gone Will Howarth up into 6th place, 96 ahead of 133, but only just as they make their a great run into turn number 1. All of this though allowing James Concannon in 8th, Rossi Bannon and Fraser Kinnaird to close in ever so slightly, getting very close in the order so far. 9 laps left to go, 4 laps completed. Is still Joshua Watley 2.3 ahead of Harvey Claridge and Jamie King.
Joshua Watley looks like he may have this sorted. The big battle on track now is 3rd place. Jamie King using all the track and more. He's riding very, very defensively, but it's working so far. Holding off Ian Jackson, holding off Sam Clowes. For now, as Ian Jackson had a bit of a look down the inside at turn 9, that was. Through there, out along the straight they come. Jamie King, Ian Jackson and Sam Clowes, nothing between them. The gap between 1st and 2nd, Josh Watley and Harvey Claridge, 3.6, and the fastest lap of the race to your race leader. So Joshua Watley making short work of this race.
Rossi Bannon, the number 13, has gotten past James Concannon. That is for 8th place so far. Fraser Kinnaird in 10th, as there's a yellow flag down at turn number 5. That is on the exit of turn number 5, just waiting to rejoin. The bike's up and running, just waiting as a big field of bikes going through. You've got to wait just a little bit to try and be able to rejoin the circuit. Such is the pace of this race, the frenetic pace so far, being set by Josh Watley. Fastest lap so far, 47.790, and 3.4 seconds now ahead of Harvey Claridge. 3rd place though, still Jamie King versus Ian Jackson, down towards turn number 1, really having to move the bike over. He's defending absolutely brilliantly, showing and explaining to us why he is the reigning champion in this category, using the transition at left and right at turns 2 and 3, getting a little bit out of shape but holding the position only slightly as they go side by side once again. Around the outside for Ian Jackson, can he make it? No.
Problem is Jamie King's holding these guys up, and Simon Clowes on the Moto Team bike is actually closing in on them all. A 49.5 last time around for Simon, 0.6 of a second quicker than Sam Clowes. So everyone is telescoping together here. I think we're in for a treat as this race goes into its second half.
So halfway through, Joshua Watley leads ahead of Harvey Claridge and Jamie King, only just though ahead of Ian Jackson and Sam Clowes, with Simon Clowes in 6th ahead of Will Howarth, the first 2 Moto Team bikes. That means then Rossi Bannon is in 8th ahead of James Concannon. Sean Whittaker and Darren Anderson have gotten past Fraser Kinnaird for 11th and 12th.
Ian Jackson's got ahead of Jamie King, so finally Jamie King cracks and Ian Jackson forces his way through. Now, that was down at turn 1, favoured overtaking place. Now it'll be interesting to see whether Sam Clowes will get ahead of Jamie King before his dad, Simon Clowes, gets ahead of him. That's the battle, really. Everyone closing up because Jamie King obviously just hasn't got the pace at the moment, but it doesn't really matter because he's riding very, very well defensively, albeit he is there or thereabouts.
Well versed in the arts of defending on a pit bike 140, side by side between Rossi Bannon and Will Howarth. Very, very close. Who's he going to be? It just is Rossi Bannon attacking very aggressively but trying to get a position. But hang on, the black bike moving just a little bit slower, looking down a couple of times through turn 2 and 3. It just looked maybe he missed a gear. I'm not quite sure why, but it was much slower through turn 2 and 3. Seems to be back up to pace now. I believe that would have been Will Howarth.
It was, yeah.
Who
Will
was
Howarth
just looking but down on his bike. I must have missed a gear.
Maybe missed a gear, maybe just run a bit wider than normal and it spooked him or something, but he's back in the fight now, and that's what matters. Is it gets very, very close downfield. That's the battle for 9th place with James Concannon going head to head at turn 7. Joshua Watley across the line leads by 3.8 seconds, but the big battle really is Jamie King and Sam Clowes. Who is it going to be? There's a bit of breathing space between them, although Simon Clowes was a 10th quicker last time around than Sam, so that is still getting closer.
It is getting very, very close all up and down the field, also including the battle for 7th and 8th, with Rossi Banham and Will Howarth going side by side. James Kincannon managed to get past for 8th place at the moment, but they are having a ding-dong scrap for 7th, 8th and 9th. Everywhere you look, somewhere is having a massive amount of fun on track, and this is what we come racing at Coll Fab for, is for the close. Brilliant but fast-paced racing. Joshua Watley remains in
4th place, doing a job good enough so far, but those three, Jamie King, Sam Clowes and Simon Clowes, are coming really close now. 2 laps to go. I feel we may just be running out of a bit of time here.
Doesn't matter whether we're running out of time, something can and will happen. We saw this in the senior mini motos earlier. Last corner, last lap, the position was changed. Coming up towards the line though, Ian Jackson just keeping the gap ahead of Jamie King, but Sam Clowes, as mentioned, really closing in, absolutely determined now to try and take the position. Fraser Kinnaird also fighting Darren Anderson for 3rd place in class in the moto teams.
Simon Clowes was a second quicker than Sam last time around, and they're at turn 5 now. Jamie King has got big company, and it's a father and son team ganging up on him here. Will he be on top at the end of all this? Defensive line again. Sam Clowes will look to get the run out of there through turn 8, not this time around, but Simon's right there, really shining the flag for the motor team guys. He was just in a bit hot there. That may have cost him some time. Last lap for your leaders.
What, last lap to go over the line on that particular instance. Jamie King just ahead of Sam Clowes, but as the number 70, Joshua Watley, a great start to this campaign for him. They're going to go side by side a bit further down for that battle for 4th place. How is it going to be? We'll resolve it in a moment. We are moments away from taking the checker flag. A great demonstration for Joshua Watley over the line. Checker flag is waving, and a great victory there for Josh. But for 4th place is side by side. The position's almost changed. It has changed, I think. Coming up towards turn number 5 though, checker flag now out side by side once again for Jamie King versus Sam Clowes. Simon's in there as well. 3-way fight coming up now towards turn number 7. 2 corners left to go. Jamie King takes the left hand side, going a bit deep. They're going to go side by side through turn number 8. They just can't manage to do it, and Jamie King just keeps the position. The gap over the line, 0.183, and Simon Clowes there was only a further 2/10 behind. So Joshua Watley wins ahead of Harvey Claridge and Ian Jackson, with Jamie King, Sam Clowes and then Simon Clowes taking the top 6, with Simon Clowes also taking the moto team victory. James Kincannon held on for 7th place ahead of Will Howarth, 2nd in moto team, 8th overall. Rossi Banham and Darren Anderson the top 10, with Fraser Kinnaird, Sean Whittaker, Bernie Hook, Liam Fairbrother and Neil Kinnaird in the points. Vince Bailey, Brandon Perrill, Jason Pugh, Alistair Kinnaird, Roger Monks, Adam Sweeney and Michael Elms the top 22. And that last lap scrap though, Kiko, what a battle that was.
It really was. That was really close. I thought Simon Clowes there was either going to watch Sam do a silly move on Jamie King and pick up the pieces on all of them, or do one himself. He took the plaudits of the crowd. So that was your top motor team as well. So great stuff there. That is one for the Clowes family cabinet, I must say.
And we get ready for the next race. Here the Mini GP 70s will be out. Here round 3 of the 2018 Coll FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Coll FAB-Racing.
The Mini GP 70s have had their green flag lap. They are arriving onto the grid. Cato Gorman and Bailey Stewart Campbell will take the front row of the grid, with row 2 going the way of Callum Beach and Owen Mellor.
Sean Abel, Rossi Banham, Saffron Watley and Holly Harris, Finn Smart, Corey Stainer, Elliot Crosby And Taylor Lawrence in behind there. Now, does Taylor Lawrence take his place? Because I believe he was the crasher earlier on. So we'll just keep an eye out for that. Behind all of them, it's Chris Johnson and Carter Brown. So getting ready for a start then. Who's it going to be here? Casey O'Gorman looking to try and take a win here today in the Mini GP 70 class from Coll.
Leading the championship, 6 wins so far. Will it be a 7th again in a Mini GP race for Casey O'Gorman? Will Evan Belford finally break his duck? They are getting ready for the start. The green flag will be waved in just a moment. It goes up. Not a long hold, a bit of a jump start from someone on the 4th row, but we go racing now. Casey O'Gorman does get a good start, retains his pole position, converts it even into the lead, going through turns 2 and 3 for the first time, using the slightly wider line he employed earlier to good effect. Bailey Stewart Campbell has managed to follow him through though, so second place for Bailey as we've got a crash. That is down at turn number 3, just on the outside bike. The rider's up, just waving to the marshals, can you get me back on the bike please? They're putting everything back together, but as we get on the way for the rest of the race, 14 laps here, well almost 13 laps. 1 lap almost completed so far for Casey O'Gorman, who can't seem to shake off Bailey Stewart Campbell so far.
Only a lap in though, there's a lot of time yet for Casey O'Gorman or Bailey Stewart Campbell to start making a break. Those two have gone away from Cannon Beach and Owen Mellor. Evan Belford, second in this series, is here tomorrow. He's actually on a school trip today in London, so he will be here tomorrow to try and claw back some points that he's losing out on today. But Casey O'Gorman ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell. We've said that a few times in this class this year.
We have, not only in this class but in several classes. It was Saffron Watley who went down, is just trying to get the bike, all the bits back onto the bike to get it ready to go racing once again. But so far Casey O'Gorman managing a decent lead ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell. Callum Beach and Owen Mellor 127 versus 130, going almost coattails effectively through the final corner. Rounding they go in the toe. Callum Beach ahead of Owen Mellor for 3rd, but as they close into the very tight turn number 1, maybe half a move being made, was certainly a move being made further down the order. It was very close over the line. I believe Finn Smart versus Holly Harris, that's for 6th, getting very, very close indeed through turns 2 and 3, weaving left, weaving right, just a little bit slower, looking to the right-handed side, the inside line at turn number 3, side by side at turn 4, and the 15 of Holly Harris just keeping ahead of 14 Finn Smart, who's also got Rossi Banham on the back. So 15, 14, 13 and 6th, 7th and 8th.
Rossi Banham and Finn Smart have been tied together all season so far, so they know each other very, very well on track. They know how each other are. Be interesting to see if they will be able to bridge the gap and work together a little bit. Holly Harris though is ahead of both of them, as you said, in 6th, although that's Finn Smart trying to make a move down at turn 1. Did he make it work? Oh, he shoved Holly Harris out a bit wide there, and through come Rossi Banham as well. So I said they work together. I didn't mean it like that, on the expense of Holly Harris. So Holly Harris down from 6th now to 8th, and Finn Smart and Rossi Banham 6th and 7th.
A very opportunistic move there from Rossi Banham, who made the move, and as they go in towards turn number 5 and 6 now, side by side once again, the number 13, which has got red, black, white all over it, a very colourful bike, trying to just get back onto the coattails of the number 14 Finn Smart in 6th place. So the 15 down into 8th, a shame, but we'll have plenty of time, 10 laps left to go to try and make the positions back up. There is still some good time left to go, although time has not been the friend of Bailey Stewart Campbell, who's lost out to 2nd place to Callum Beach. Callum Beach going around the outside through turns 5 they go, the right-handed hairpin, and is just having to defend slightly from Bailey Stewart Campbell, who's a bit disgruntled, one would imagine, using a much wider line. You can tell maybe the frustration's already attacking the road.
No, I think Bailey Stewart Campbell's actually held up with a bit of traffic. I don't think that is Callum Beach. Callum Beach is still behind. So, yeah, it may well be Saffron Watley at the back of the field picking the bike up. So, Bailey Stewart Campbell, well, will be annoyed because he got held up either way, but Callum Beach has caught him, so Callum Beach is right on the case. Oh dear, this is so one line through here, and this is what happens. You can just get caught up with a bit of traffic.
And a big twitch from Saffron Watley. My apologies there 4, miscalling it, but Saffron Watley going out of turn number 4, a big twitch with a lashing of understeer to go with it, but Casey O'Gorman now 3.6 seconds ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell. With Callum Beach, he was closer, but unfortunately just waiting, biding his time to make the best move behind him. All of this is helping Owen Mellor just watch and learn, see how it's done, try and follow through if he can. Over the line they go once again, and Bailey Stewart Campbell now got a gap of 2.2 ahead of Callum Beach. Owen Mellor now trying to make a good position, has made it past Watley, I believe, so already catching up once again. But Sean Abel in 5th ahead of Finn Smarts, Rossi Banham, Holly Harris, Corey Stainer and Elliot Crosby, with Taylor Lawrence in 11th ahead of Chris Johnson and Carter Brown, with Saffron Watley still lapping out there, so good to see Saffron continuing.
Casey Gorman way off into the distance at the front, a 4.1 second advantage over Bailey Stewart Campbell. I think he's got this one well and truly wrapped up. Half a second quicker a lap. Let's see what it is this time around. A 46.3 for Casey O'Gorman. Oh, Bailey Stewart Campbell took 0.3 of a second out of the lead that time.
And a second, the gap now between 3rd and 4th, between Callum Beach and Owen Mellor, with Sean Abel in 5th, a good handful of seconds behind as well. Getting very competitive indeed all throughout the field. There's a great battle going on for 6th place so far, with Finn Smarts and Rossi Banham 14 and 13 almost going side by side, bringing someone else with them, but they almost go side by side once again. Having to really focus on the outside line is Finn Smarts, looking out of the exit of turn number 4. A very, very late move being made by Rossi Banham, who couldn't quite get it stopped in time. Opportunistic, trying to use the left-hand side into the left-handed hairpin at 4. Couldn't quite get it work though.
Finn Smart showing once again how consistent he is. Always a top 6 runner now. He has really made a big step. He's really come on the radar this year as far as consistency is concerned. 7th for Rossi Banham, and like I said earlier, always racing together. They've both got the better of Holly Harris at the moment. Corey Stainer and Elliot Crosby 9th and 10th. Taylor Lawrence is 11th, but out front Casey O'Gorman. Well, a 46 second flat and a 47.2 for Bailey Stewart Campbell. That was a difference of 1.2. The gap is up to 5 seconds, so something has happened there with Bailey Stewart Campbell. Maybe a mistake that we haven't seen, but Owen Mellor actually caught Callum Beach and Bailey Stewart Campbell that last time around. He was about a second quicker than both of them, so maybe 2nd and 3rd are fading here, and Owen Mellor looking to pick up some pieces.
Well, they are starting to get much closer. Only time will tell. Not that long in the race left to go. Sean Abel coming over in 5th at the moment. The gap between Callum Beach and Owen Mellor 2 seconds, but Holly Harris has made it past Rossi Banham, so 14, 15 and 13 is the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. Out the turn number 1, side by side for turn number 2, and Holly giving it one way then the other. Someone's actually come into the paddock. We'll have a look and see who that is in just a moment's time, but up towards the hairpin, the left-handed hairpin, a late move from Holly Harris, who makes it up the inside, so a position gain. So once again Holly is at turn number 6, and at turn 1 someone has stopped on the left-hand side. Bike is being restarted, just trying to get it going, so the marshals pushing it, getting it underway, so the bike now rejoining the circuit. But Holly Harris, a great move back up into 6th place.
Corey Stainer was the rider who went on at turn 1. He's back up and okay though, everything is good there. Finn Smart is not done with Holly Harris just yet as they come down into turn 1. Holly Harris having to defend here. She's got a big battle on. It's always these three, they are always together. Finn Smart carrying big speed through turn 2, that long left-hander, making it up into turn 3 and 4 now as they all come round. Holly Harris still leading that group, 6th, 7th and 8th at the moment. Oh dear, traffic as well at turn 5, I think that is. They all come through. Holly Harris, Finn Smart, Rossi Banham, nothing between them. Oh, Finn Smart having a big look there to try and get through on Holly Harris, not able to make it work, and Rossi Banham just looking to pick up the pieces if there are any left for him.
It's getting very, very close now between this group. 15, 14, 13, 6th, 7th, 8th. At turn number 1, they're going to go for a move. Can it quite stick? No. Holly Harris retains the position, and Rossi Banham just keeping an eye on this, watching what's happening. They do go side by side at 2 and 3 though, around the outside, and Holly Harris recovers it, gets the position back once again. So maybe a bit slower on the transition between 2 and 3 on the exit of 2 though. Off like nothing else. Fantastic run though. And all of this, Casey O'Gorman with just a handful of laps left to go has got over 9 seconds the gap, 9.2 as they head towards the end of this race.
Made it look easy. It's been a textbook copybook for Casey O'Gorman as he just works his way through the snake section at the moment. As we look down to turn 1, Finn Smart trying to get up the inside of Holly Harris, not that time round, although Holly went a bit wide. That'll give Finn Smart some time to build back the advantage that she pulled on him, but not this time. So Holly Harris so far has got that 6th place for now. Finn Smart and Rossi Banham, though, not finished with her just yet. We're on the last lap. If you're the leader, Casey O'Gorman is well clear at the front, looking to take another win over at turn 3 as he comes through now. What a masterclass performance.
Taken wins, all 3 wins at Clandale, taken all 3 wins at Clay Pigeon. He's about to take the first win of the weekend here at Tattershall in Lincolnshire. Just 2 corners left to go, but the battle for 3rd place yet to be settled. In fact, it's for 6th place, and Holly Harris has just lost out side by side for 14 and 15 around the outside. He goes Rossi, and Casey O'Gorman comes over the line, takes the checker flag. A great victory for Casey. The number 7 doing well once again. Holly Harris has made her way around the outside, made it past. Now Rossi Banham's getting in on the action. Just a handful of corners, they're side by side between Banham and Smart, and Banham pushes the 14 just slightly out wide at turn number 5. Maybe the tyres getting a little too warm, but Holly Harris has cleared off for 6th place, and Rossi Banham on the last lap really has attacked and taken 7th place, which is a great result. They come over the line now. In fact, Finn Smart's bike didn't pull away out of the final couple of corners quite as cleanly over the last couple of laps, but all we know is Casey O'Gorman took a great victory in the end, lifted off, coasted effectively for the last lap. It is 8.2 seconds the gap between Casey O'Gorman and Bailey Stewart-Campbell, with Callum Beach and Owen Mellor 127 and 130 3rd and 4th ahead of Sean Abel and Holly Harris, with Rossi Banham again taking an opportunistic move late on the last lap to take the position. Finn Smart and Elliot Crosby came home 8th and 9th ahead of Corey Stainer, with Taylor Lawrence, Chris Johnson, Carter Brown and Saffron Watley rounding out the 14 runners and riders in that race.
Ready. It is go, go, go! This is the Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.
The AC40 Pros have headed out now for their green flag lap, with Johnny Garnes and Mason Foster starting on the front row of the grid, ahead of Sullivan Mounsey and Kyle Payne, with Troy Jeffrey and Luca Hopkins on the 3rd row of the grid. James Rose Jr., Harrison DeSoy, Harrison McKay and Clayton Edmonds are in the top 10. Ethan Sparks, Ronnie Harris 11th and 12th, with Taylor Stewart-Campbell, Charlie Tilley and Ben Jolliffe in 15th place ahead of Alessandro Valente, Jamie Woodcock, JJ Cunningham, Jada Howe, Caden Watson, Keaton Payne and Aston Dean, the top 22 as they make their way now onto the grid. Marshall's putting them into the positions they need to be in and eagerly awaiting a 10-lap encounter, their first such of the weekend. And after the quality we had in the previous race for the Mini GP70s, the AC40 Pros will certainly be a very, very competitive race as ever. In the championship for the Pros, it is Johnny Garnes in the lead of the championship, but only just 5 points ahead of Mason Foster, 57 and 88, separated by just 5 points. They're on the front row of the grid, of course, as well. So Where will the wins go? They've had 2 wins, well they've had 3 wins apiece actually over the course of the season. This is where it might start to separate slightly, but we get ready for the start of the race. 10 laps in prospect, and Johnny Garness has got the best line into turn number 1. Marshall's just making sure everyone is fired up, ready and raring to go. Green flag will walk. Marshall's being now ushered off the grid and waiting now for the green flag to come out to start the first race of the AC40 Pros of the weekend. Down towards turn number 1. It's a very short run, it's a very tight corner. Who will get the best of the opportunities? Ready to start. Green flag goes up now, and we are underway. A good start by Johnny Garness, cleanly through into the lead at turn number 1 ahead of Mason Foster. Everyone else filtering through. A couple of people going side by side, but did seem quite tight through turn number 1. But Johnny Garness just using the momentum from pole position in order to take the lead ahead of Mason Foster and Sullivan Mounsey, whilst Carl Payne and Troy Jeffrey fighting along as well.
Sullivan Mounsey this time, unlike in Clay Pigeon, has actually got away with him. He was mired downfield, then he was put in a battle with Troy Jeffrey, and this time he's actually got away with Mason Foster and Johnny Garness, so it'll be interesting to see if he can go with them. Johnny Garness ahead of Mason Foster so far, with Sullivan Mounsey, Kyle Payne and Troy Jeffrey rounding out the top 5. We've got yellow flags, and that is on the exit of turn number 5, I think, so, or on the entrance to turn 6, so problems there, not sure who, but across the line Johnny Garness leads Mason Foster by half a second so far.
Everyone just streaming through. Someone's just pulled off, as you mentioned, at turn number 5. Marshall's just trying to restart the bike, waiting very patiently. And Mason Foster, Johnny Garness, that battle will continue throughout the race as it has so far. That has been effectively the script of 2018 so far. How much longer will it continue with Garness in the lead of Foster, though? We'll wait and see. Third place, Sullivan Mounsey, just a little bit far from the pairing, but also quite good ahead of Kyle Payne and Troy Jeffrey, who seem to be closing up. And then further back, Luca Hopkins and Harrison Desoy getting even closer. Side by side over the line they go. Who's going to emerge ahead? It is just going to be Harrison Desoy ahead of Luca Hopkins. Barely though, by a tenth of a second. That is all they were covered by. But Garness, half a second ahead of Foster so far.
So far, indeed. There is a lot of time for a bit of change here in this AC40 Pros race. Sullivan Mounsey is right there. This is great to see. A three-way fight. We've waited for Mounsey to make this jump to this leading duo here, Johnny Garness and Mason Foster, for the first couple of rounds, and now he's doing it. It is fantastic to see. We've got a three-way scrap then, and of course Sullivan Mounsey is not out of this championship either, only on 91 points. He is 24 back of Johnny Garness, your series leader, so results literally could change the championship here for all three of these guys. Sullivan Mounsey, the fastest lap, has closed the gap down 2.9 of a second, a 49.2 for Mounsey, whereas a 49.4 for Foster and a 49.3 for Garness. The leading three are away and running.
And so our fourth and fifth, Kyle Payne versus Troy Jeffrey, heads into turn 3. Side by side, a bit of a squirm from Kyle Payne's bike, trying to correct it, getting it into turn number 4, having a bit of understeer mid-corner and then correcting it before a hairpin. Very difficult, did manage to hold on to it though, so well done, great riding characteristic there. Kyle just managing to keep ahead of Troy at the moment, but they're slowly being reeled in by Harrison Desoy and Luca Hopkins, so it could well be a 4 or even 5 bike battle in just a few moments. A poor run off the final couple of corners, side by side, almost through the final corner in fact for Kyle. In fact it is side by side, trying to go around the outside is Troy Jeffrey at turn 1. Can he make it stick? And yes he can, and it's gone straight on. In fact someone's gone straight on. They're side by side through turns 2 and 3. We'll get more information on that as we can, but great moves there. The top 3 still going very well indeed. Sullivan Mounsey getting closer and closer, but the battle for 4th still retaining very hard. Troy Jeffrey just couldn't quite make it stick.
Sullivan Mounsey that time around lost a little bit of time. It wasn't a lot though. He can make it back up. We've got a bit of traffic to contend with for your leaders. Johnny Garness gets through it safely, as does Mason Foster, as does Sullivan Mounsey. So the leading 3, the leading group, have got through ahead. What's the lap times, what's the gaps this time around? 49.4 for Mounty. He was quicker again than the leading two. Down the gap is to a second now. Troy Jeffrey alongside Kyle Payne for 4th place. Kyle Payne swoops majestically across the bows of Troy Jeffrey at turn 1 and holds that 4 now.
And it's very difficult though for Troy Jeffrey in 5th. He tried the outside line, the left hand line for turn 1 didn't work. Tried the inside line, the right hand side for turn 1 didn't work. What more has he got to give to try and make the position? Well, they're making their way through turns 5 at the moment. The right-handed hairpin before the second of the left-handed hairpins. There's yellow flag down at turn number 3. Someone has fallen but is up at the exit of turn number 3 on the left-hand side. Marshall's going over. All seems okay up there. So Johnny Garnett still in the lead of the race. Mason Foster is still second. The gap increasing slightly. In fact, it did actually decrease on that last lap. I beg your pardon. So 0.655 between Garnett and Foster. 1.1 between Garnett and Mounty in 3rd. Payne and Jeffrey still exceptionally close.
Mounty has really closed in here on Mason Foster down into turn 5. Everyone's safety through, a bit of traffic coming up for the leading 3, but Mounty is right with them now. There is no gap, and if there is, it is purely academic. Garnis ahead of Foster and Mounty as they come through turn number 7 all the way up, building speed to turn 9. Round there, it's like a horseshoe right-hander. Now, building all the way down this straight, slingshot through the final right-hander. What is the gap? It is across the line Garnis who has got ahead of Foster and Mounty, but there is no real gap between them. 0.8 of a second covers the top 3. We have a race on.
Getting very, very close. Sullivan Mounsley, the 44, just starting to get closer and closer and closer, edging inch by inch through turn number 3 and 4. But Johnny Garnett still leads ahead of Mason Foster and Sullivan Mounsley, with Kyle Payne in 4th ahead of Luca Hopkins and Harrison McKay. Troy Jeffrey down to 7th place ahead of Ethan Sparks, Ronnie Harris, Ben Jolliffe and Charlie Tilley, with JJ Cunningham in 12th ahead of Jamie Woodcock and Alessandro Valente. Harrison Desoy in 15th, 16th for Caden Watson, 17th for Jada Howe, 18th for Keaton Payne, Clayton Edmonds, Ashton Dean, James Rose Jr. and Taylor Stewart Campbell. That is your 22 field as of 2 laps left to go.
Johnny Garnis leads the way, and I think Sullivan Mounty is into 2nd place. Mason Foster there, I think, was caught in traffic, so that is just the pendulum that can swing either way here. It's all about how you get through the traffic, and with 2 laps to go, it may have... I don't think Sullivan Mounty can go on to win the gap. He's a second, and to get that down in a couple of laps looks a bit of a challenge for anyone, but a 2nd place here, that'll be his best result of the whole season so far. So Sullivan Mounty has come good under the sun in Tattershall.
It would match his 2nd place in the 3rd and final race at the Clandale circuit a couple of months ago, but on the last lap now, getting very, very close through turn number 1. Someone pulls off on the left of turn 1, just trying to get the bike restarted. So very late on in the race for that. Up towards the final few corners, so turns 2 and 3. Mason Foster really catching up now on Sullivan Mounsley, using the toe to good effect, weaving their way up towards turn number 4, the first of the left-handed hairpins. He is starting to gain ground. Johnny Garnett seems relatively comfortable, but Sullivan Mounsley doesn't. He is being reeled in by Mason Foster, looking left, looking right, looking every which way through the final couple of corners, and Johnny Garnett, barring anything, touch wood, through the second last corner up to the last corner, and it is going to be a win for Johnny Garnett. Takes the checkered flag ahead of Sullivan Mounty and Mason Foster. Only just though, that was 0.3 of a second between Johnny Garnett, or in fact between Sullivan Mounty and Mason Foster. So Johnny Garnett wins ahead of Sullivan Mounty and Mason Foster. Kyle Payne due to come over the line in 4th place ahead of Luca Hopkins. Harrison McKay, it's going to be very close between Ethan Sparks, Troy Jeffrey and Ronnie Harris. They're going to be side by side. A few corners left to go for them. Over the line, Ethan Sparks does come home in 7th place ahead of Troy Jeffrey. Just managed to get through. No, Ronnie Harris makes his way through into 8th place. Troy Jeffrey in 9th. So Ben Jolliffe in 10th ahead of Jamie Woodcock. Alessandro Valente in 12th ahead of Caden Watson, Jada Howe and Keaton Payne for your points order. JJ Cunningham, Ashton Dean, Then rounding out the 17th, in 18th, Charlie Tilley, Harrison Desoy and Clayton Edmonds. Round out the finishes in that race, James Rose Jr. and Taylor Strong Campbell, 21st and 22nd.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing. This is the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship. The official partner series to the BSB. Original and best British championships for mini bikes. This is Cool Fab Racing.
The Extreme 200s head onto the grid for their next race, their first race of the weekend, where it will be Elliot Pinson and Max Cook on the front row of the grid, but second row,
Josh Watley and Oscar Pinson. Don't forget that front row, that is really where your battle will likely come from today. Callum Wybrow is 5th, Brandon Payne 6th, Will Howarth 7th, Alex Vella 8th, Josh Ingram and Brandon Perrell complete the top 10, and we say it every round, but expect Brandon Perrell to finish higher than where he starts because he's so good at coming through the field. Craig Walker and Callum Beach, Harvey Claridge down in 13th, Jamie King 14th and 15th, Sean Whitaker. Are we ready for a start?
So, Elliot Pinson will start on pole position ahead of Max Cook. Max does a lot of racing, he knows what he's doing, so does Elliot Pinson, the leader in the championship, Gareth Roberts. And at the moment, we are getting ready for the start. Up towards turn 1, the green flag goes up, the green flag drops almost as quickly as it goes up, and Elliot Pinson, side by side with Max Cook, and the 76 does manage to keep the lead, going through turn 1 for the first time out of 14. Turns 2 and 3, left and then right, you've got to really hurl the bike over in order to get it turned in properly with the required speed and effort, but Elliot Pinson mastered the start. Max Cook, probably, he's in a position where he can just sit and go, well, I don't need to worry too much about what I'm doing at this moment. I'm very close. Yes, I'll probably go for a move, but I don't need to rush. I know I can handle it. But the top two, Pinson and Cook, already trying to fight through turn 7 and already got a decent couple of lengths on Josh Watley in third.
Max Cook looking to already make a move on Elliot Pinson as they come across the line. Elliot Pinson leads by 0.3 of a second ahead of Max Cook as they come through turn 1. In third place, Josh Watley has started to try and go with the two leaders out front. Of course, Elliot Pinson, don't forget, won all 3 races at Llandau. Max Cook looking to make up for what was a bit of a difficult weekend for him at Clay Pigeon. We'll see what these two put together for us today. What a race we've got on our hands here.
Elliot Pinson leads, Max Cook second, Josh Watley third. Alex Vella made a good start up into 4th place for the 6-2-1. Alex currently in 11th place in the championship, last time out 2 5th places and a 3rd place, so we'll definitely want another podium to have with his podium. Oscar Pinson 5th ahead of Will Howarth, Brandon Payne, Callum Wybrow, Josh Ingram and Brandon Perrell. That's your top 10 so far. A bit lonely for Josh Watley so far, definitely not lonely for Alex Vella, who's got at least 1 bike to contend with. It could be even more as they make their way through turn 2 and 3. The transition for Oscar Pinson seemingly a little easier, but Will Howarth pushing the bike, he definitely knows where to put it, he knows what he wants to do with it, and it's looking very, very masterful so far.
Already with 12 laps to go, a pattern forming at the front. Elliot Pinson and Max Cook, I think this one's going to go the distance here today. All the way down the field they battled Glore. Josh Watley has a bit of a gap, but it's Alex Vella versus Oscar Pinson, so both Pinsons getting in a bit of a scrap here today at Tattershall as they cross the line. Slipstream City, not enough there for Oscar Pinson at 94. Will Howarth is 6th. 7th, Brandon Payne. Callum Wybrow, Josh Ingram, Brandon Pell, Harvey Claridge up to 11th.
And a fight for the lead then side by side for Max Cook, who has a very late move up the inside to take the position for the race lead. And that was very, very opportunistic, using the transition out turn 3, got very wiggly, in fact tried to get the back end to slide out just to get it to do what he wanted it to do, put the foot out, managed to recover it up the inside at turn number 4, job done. Great move at the left-handed hairpin, and will consolidate it over the line now to complete the third lap of the race. They're still going side by side though. Elliot Pinson is not going to lie down and take it.
Through.
They're almost on top of each other. Then they contact between the two, and they go off, and one of them does go off. Luckily the pit bikes can manage off-road slightly easier, so we don't have to worry about it too much, but this is showing how heated it's going to be. In all of this, we just can't tell what's going to happen. But Max Cook said, look, it's my position, you're not having it, don't you dare come near me. Oh, you're going to try it, go off the circuit.
Proper bit of argy-bargy there. Max Cook and Elliot Pinson absolutely head-to-head as they came through turn 1. Elliot Pinson went on the inside, but he obviously ran wide on exit, and it just allowed Max Cook a tiny opening. Give him an inch and he'll take a mile. Elliot Pinson chases Max Cook, but there's battles down the field at the moment. Alex Vella and Oscar Pinson separated by absolutely nothing as they come across the line. Vella leads that battle ahead of Oscar Pinson. Will Howarth is next up. Then it's the 23 of Brandon Payne versus Callum Wybrow. We have got battles all the way down the field as Elliot Pinson starts to close back in on Max Cook. Revenge in the offing.
Well, you can tell that Max has got a quite confident head on him at the moment, but the 6-2-1 for 4th place, Alex Vella, having to use the left-hand side. He came quite wide on the exit of turn number 3, coming into turn number 4, and the left-hander, it was much tighter. They go side by side once again between 6-2-1 and 94. Oscar Pinson looks towards the left-hand side, the inside line, up towards turn number 7, although couldn't quite make it stick. Turning is a very, very tight turn for Alex Vella through turn number 7. He can't manage it quite as well as Oscar Pinson, much more comfortable on the actual transition and the turn of it, but Alex can just use the sheer grunt of the bike to try and get him towards the straight ahead of that. So 4th place remains in Alex Vella's very capable hands so far, but Oscar Pinson, 94, just looking again around the outside, around the left-hand side, cuts back, can't quite make it move.
Elliot Pinson is coming back at Max Cook here. I think we're about to see fireworks as they come through the final corner. Elliot Pinson gives chase to Max Cook. The gap across the line was 0.8, now it is 0.6, and the fastest lap of the race to Elliot Pinson. So we have a battle on with 7 to go here. Perfect skies and the weather couldn't be better. The battle for the lead is about to explode as they go across the line. Oscar Pinson looking on the inside of Alex Vella. Does he make it work? He's half and half. Not this time. He had a big sniff down the inside. Just thought better of it. Will Howarth right there as well.
Getting very, very tight for 4th place. A 3-bike battle now through turn number 3, and Alex Vella just cannot quite hold on, but he's giving it absolutely everything he got. Turning, squirming, he just can't get the bike to respond in the same way that Oscar Pinson must feel much more comfortable at the moment, but just can't find a way through. There's no door opening there, there's no door there. He's just trying to force one at the moment out of turn number 6, almost getting a little bit of loss of the front grip for Alex Vella. So maybe he knows he's struggling a little bit, but he must be having a beaming smile as they go side by side through the final corner. Oscar Pinson tried to get the front of the bike in, couldn't quite get the wheel turned in. They go side by side again at turn 1, and again this isn't to his advantage. He's now using all his chances. He's got to defend the 96 of Will Howarth in 6th place. So it's 61, 94, 96, 96 trying to get past 94, and Oscar Pinson very deep on the exit of turn 3.
Elliot Pinson all over Max Cook now, so this is going to be a big battle coming our way across the line. The gap is down to 0.3, a 44.5 for the pair of them, but it was Elliot Pinson in the low 44.5s, it was Max Cook in the high 44.5, so Elliot Pinson definitely has the pace here. It is what kind of move he's going to put on it. Will he be friendly and accept that it was a racing incident earlier, or will he barge his way through? I'll tell you what, with 5 to go, I think this is boiling up beautifully for the last lap.
is getting absolutely fantastic here at Tattershall in Lincolnshire, round 3 of the 2018 Coll FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships. Very close between Max Cook and Elliot Pinson. Can the man, the British Talent Cup rider, a man who's got so much European experience, use all of that to his advantage as they go down towards turn number 1 now? Max really can handle the bike. He can lean it more maybe than Elliot Pinson, but Elliot's just biding his time. He knows there's a couple of other peoples in this race they've got to make their way past, heading towards them as they get towards turn number 4. This is where you really show your wealth as a rider, because you can really look for opportunities through the traffic, make it past maybe, but going into turn number 5 and 6, is this going to come to heads? Max Cook pulls to the inside line, almost makes contact again as they try to tighten their way through. Does get through though. Elliot Pinson caught just at the wrong moment at the transition to turn 7, can't get it through.
Traffic's cost them both time. Wouldn't be surprised if it's decided the outcome of that battle there. They come across the line. Now the gap is up to 0.8 of a second, so Max Cook used the traffic to his advantage despite being held up. Oh, Elliot Pinson has a moment as well on the exit of turn 1. So 3 laps to go. It's by no means over, but it's just an uphill task now. Big battle for 10th place. Brandon Perrell and Harvey Claridge going head to head. Nothing coming of it though for Harvey Claridge at the moment. Brandon Perrell just holds on to that last top 10 place. Joshua Watley has dropped into the clutches of Alex Vella now. There is hardly anything to split some of the riders in this field now.
It's starting to get close to the 4th place battle though between Alex Vella and Oscar Pinson. Getting very close. They are almost side by side once again. They just cannot separate each other. Must have some kind of massive coat on them or something, because they just don't have the urgency or the capability to make it past. As someone's clutch sounds like it's slipping.
1.6 seconds the gap between first and second, so what we thought was going to be a grandstand finish I think may not be anymore, although Max Cook held up there with Harvey Claridge and Brandon Perrell. They're having their own battle. They will not be aware of Max Cook coming through, although they will now because he rammed his way through there. So Max Cook then, with 2 laps to go, looks like a win here. There may be some remonstrations after this race. We'll see. Elliot Pinson picking his way through past Harvey Claridge now. A lap and a corner to go, and it looks like Max Cook has this one in the bag.
And Max Cook beautifully weaved his way there through the other battle, trying not to interrupt it. Inch perfect, just avoided the other riders. But as he makes his way on the exit of turn number 1, Max Cook, 1.6 the gap was on the last lap, ahead of Elliot Pinson in 2nd place. Still though, the battle for 4th not quite decided. They've got a lap and a half left to go to try and sort it into turn number 7. Just 1 corner left to go, and then this will be their last lap. Side by side once again for Oscar Pinson, who has to look one way then the other. Can't quite sort it. Will Howarth is on the attack though. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? Not quite on this go, but it is going to be Max Cook. 2 corners left to go, 1 corner left to go. He gets his wheel up, he's pulling wheelies, he's absolutely beautifully happy with that, and Max Cook will take the victory ahead of Elliot Pinson, with Josh Watley very soon to come over the line in the 3rd position. But 4th place yet to be decided. Still very close. Alex Vella's holding on. Is very, very close indeed between the 3 of them. 6-2-1 just holding on tight side by side. In fact, for Will Howarth, who has a sniff up the left hand side into turn number 7. It's 3 bikes now for 4th place. How close are they going to get? A good run, but not quite enough, I suspect, for Oscar Pinson. So Alex Vella takes 4th place ahead of Oscar Pinson and Will Howarth, and what has been a dramatic and fantastic battle for them, ahead of Oscar Pinson and in 5th, and Will Howarth 6th. Brandon Payne in 7th ahead of Callum Wybrow. Josh Ingram and Brandon Perrell ended up 9th and 10th, with Harvey Claridge, Callum Beach, Craig Walker, Jamie King and Sean Whittaker all finishing that race, and all 15 there. What a great race that was for the Extreme 200s. That's really going to throw the cat among the pigeons, and I suppose there might be a few heated discussions, I suppose, between Max Cook and Elliot Pinson after that one.
They shook hands, so they seemed like there was no bad blood, but it really adds some atmosphere and tension to tomorrow's 2 races for this class. Don't forget, Extreme 200. And the next race is the AC40 rookies. Now, who is it going to be in that class? We have got lots of young talent there, lots of potential BSB stars in the future. Warwick Brady, what can he do? His confidence must be sky high after his performance at Clay Pigeon. And of course, you've got Ruben Bray, Samuel Munson starting from his third pole. Will he convert it? Lots of questions to be answered in this next encounter.
Well, Samuel Munson will start on pole position ahead of Ollie Horner and Ruben Bray, with Finn and Werity and Henry McCartney in 4th and 5th ahead of Elliot Jones, Warwick Brady, William Harris, Charlie Huntingford and Ollie Sims. And thank you very much for joining us. You're listening to live coverage of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships, the official partner series to the BSB and on the road to MotoGP. We get ready then for a start in the AC40 rookies. They will have an 8-lap race. Everyone just getting into position on the start line at the moment. The sun has not faded away yet. We had a brief interlude of cloud, but still sky high, wonderfully blue skies at the very picturesque Tattershall circuit in Lincolnshire. Munson versus Horner. Well, Munson, to great surprise, despite being one of the best in qualifying recently, has only taken 1 victory so far this season. 2 victories have gone the way of Warwick Brady, who is in 4th in the championship, but our leader, Henry McCartney, only taken 1 victory. Race 1 at Clay Pigeon last time out. Every other position, though, has been 2nd place. So as we get ready for a race start, Marshall's being shepherded from the grid. Everyone looking very happily at the grid at the moment. Get underway in just a second. The starter flag about to be waved, and you can really feel the tension of these youngsters who just want to go out there, have a bit of fun, but wait for some great racing, and we will have it in this race. 8 laps about to get ready and underway. Revs are building as Marshall's currently just having a quick discussion, although waiting for that to be clear. That Munson versus Horner, that's going to be a great front row, and still deliberations going on the grid. I'm not entirely sure what for. We'll try and find out some more information when we can get it to you.
Finn and Werity in 4th place is an unknown quantity, so to speak. He could be a surprise winner there. Of course, we've got winners all the way down this field. Winner on row 3 with Henry McCartney, and on row 4 with Warwick Brady. Anything can happen here today.
Well, Finn and Werity wasn't at Clay Pigeon, but got an 8th and a 4th place in the 2 races he finished in at Clandell. So there's some good pace there, but still a few discussions. In fact, one of the riders getting off the bike, so the bike being pulled off the grid.
Full John Hopkins mode enabled.
Is that? Hang on, is that our pole sitter?
It may
be our pole sitter. That could be Samuel Munson.
Samuel Munson has got a problem here. There is some issue. The problem is that he's not being allowed to start, but besides that, I don't know what's gone on and why he isn't being allowed to start. So drama before this race has even started here.
Well, we'll bring you more information on that as we can get it. But for now, as a reminder, Henry McCartney 125 points in the lead of the championship. Ruben Bray, who starts 3rd in this race, in 2nd with 110, just 10 points behind Henry. And 2 victories for Ruben so far, 2 3rd places and 1 2nd place, as well as a 4th place. So we will wait to see what happens as Marshall's going about on the grid. So we are waiting to see what happens in this race. Well, the AC40 rookies always provide drama, but we weren't expecting it of this order. But then the riders going back on the rider seems to be going back onto the bike. So Samuel Munson it is Samuel Munson is being allowed to start again. I thought it could have been a leak or something off the engine, but apparently he's gotten off the bike, got a bit upset, and then back on the bike, everything ready. It's
going to be the 1993 Grand National, the race that never was. It will just be red carded, this race. It will be thrown
I don't think it will be. We'll get underway in just a moment.
Parents obviously not happy. They don't know really what's going on. They want this race to start, which I think it is.
It is. Green flag is being readied down. Everyone getting the revs into the bike. That extra bit of temperature. Try to get the clutch at the right point. Green flag goes up. A few of them have gone. In fact, hard grid. Good time of asking. We should get underway. Everyone being told you go at the drop of the green flag, not the up at the green flag. Green flag goes up.
Drama.
And green flag goes
There
down.
you
We
go.
do get underway. A clean start by everyone now. And it looked like Samuel Munson, the 72, just managed to get ahead. Although drop back into third place so far. Samuel, side by side, a bit of a gap between the top two and then the rest of the field almost. Skipping onto the grass was our race leader at turn number 2 and 3. But everyone, they've managed to continue to get underway. Marshall's returning back to their posts. And I think Henry McCartney doing what he does best, which is staying within the leading group so far.
Samuel Munson then leads this one from Ollie Horner. It's definitely Ollie Horner in second, we can tell with the light blue bike there. Ruben Bray third, looks like. Yep, Finn and Werrity's fourth, ahead of Elliot Jones and Henry McCartney. As they all stream through, we'll get a full recap when they cross the line. But drama before this race had even started, and now hopefully some drama as this race unfolds. Across the line then, Samuel Munson is your leader. Ollie Horner from Ruben Bray. Warwick Brady, what a start there from row 4, has got up to third place already. Fifth place Elliot Jones, sixth place Henry McCartney. Finn and Werrity's dropped down, and William Harris complete the top 8 with Charlie Huntingford and Greg Marshall. So great start already. Ruben Bray coming under big pressure from Warwick Brady there for third.
And last time out, Ruben Bray put on some fantastic demonstrations of his defensive talents. Through turn number 4, they go for the second time now out of 8. And they did give it their all last time out, and Ruben Bray really showed as well. But Warwick Brady looking one way, then the other, trying to go around the outside at turn number 7. Not quite to his advantage on this particular lap. But over the line once again, it is Samuel Munson in the lead ahead of Ollie Horner. 1 second covers the top 2. Ruben Bray further down the field. And it looked like Warwick Brady has managed to leap past Ruben Bray, sorry. Brady versus Bray there, side by side up towards turn number 4. The left-hander now. Very tight stuff indeed. They are scrapping very, very nicely indeed, which is the kind of competition we expect and we get from Coll Fab, Kiko.
Very good ride from Elliot Jones in 5th place there, ahead of race winner already, Henry McCartney, and Finn and Werrity there in 7th place. Samuel Munson
2 actually, and I think
traffic.
That looks like a bit of traffic. So Harris and Greg Marshall with Ollie Sims and Archie Gibbs again in 11th and 12th, having a very nice battle down at turn number 1, with Max Werrity, Blake Wilson, Jacob Stevenson and Joshua Williams carrying on the 16 strong field at the moment.
Third and fourth, Ruben Bray and Warwick Brady are still tied together, so be interesting.
Ahead of Archie,
still trying to get that third. The gap is 6/10 of all plain sailing,
and is now in the lead of the race to the tune of 1.5 seconds. Kiko, a great ride from him.
Yeah, 2 seconds gap now for the leader. I think it's more or less done and dusted. Ruben Bray and Warwick Brady are getting a bit closer. Only 0.3 of a second between them as they go through turn 3 and 4 now. Warwick Brady will build through now, try and line something up for turn 5 if he can. He's looking deep on the side, can't quite make it work that time.
Think will be 11th and Archie Gibbs 12th, ahead of Blake Wilson, Jacob Stevenson, Joshua Williams and Max Werrity. And that was the first AC40 Rookies race of the weekend. Plenty of action, plenty of drama, and we will see them back out twice more tomorrow, so some more fantastic action. But now though, the final race of today, would you believe it already, the final race of today will be for the Mini F1 sidecars, rounding out Saturday's running here at round 3 of the 2018 Coll FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship, live from Tattershall.
It is go! This is the Coll FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.
Time to go racing then for the final race of the day, the Mini F1 sidecars. Who's it going to be in this one? Oh, Mick Williams is where my safe 25 pence is going on. Mick Williams dominating this class so far this year. 7 race wins on the bounce. Surely it's going to happen. As we await Mick Williams to come out to the grid along with the other sidecars. Of course, there's always a great battle for second place. Mick Lee, Adrian Ems, Simon Ibbotson, to name all but a few. Who's it going to be as they get ready? Mick Williams so far this year, 6 wins from 2 pole positions. He has absolutely dominated this class. But racking up the race wins, do you reckon there's a competition for him to get the first rider to 100 wins?
Well, we will wait and see, I suppose. Mick Williams with the lead in the championship, 150 points so far, a clean sweep of 6 races on the bounce, with Adrian Ems, the number 76, 42 points behind actually. So Adrian Ems keeping it competitive in the championship so far, has taken 3 third places and 3 second places, so also relatively consistent there for him. Mick Lee, the 44, is on 87 points, 63 behind the overall leader, but 21 behind Adrian Ems. Mark Parker is 4th in the championship with 82, so only 5 points behind Mick Lee. Simon Ibbotson, the 46, has 61 points, so 21 points behind Mark Parker and 89 points behind the overall leader in the championship. John Hosker, the 127, who had a few issues in qualifying this morning, had in 6th place in the championship so far on 54 points, tied with Paul Quarters Senior. So that's going to be one of the battles we look forward to watching over the course of the weekend. And then Russ Morgan, who joined us for the round at Clay Pigeon a few weeks ago, not here this weekend but scored 9 points, so a good show up from the 111 there. So Kiko, the Mini F1 sidecars, we keep getting promised we're going to be taken out in one at some point, but it's going to be a good race, and great to see the homemade, you know, these are homemade, the craftsmanship that these guys show, guys and girls of course, to show how passionate they are about creating these bikes and just enjoying the racing out there.
It's great to see some British built machinery. How many times do you see that nowadays?
Apart from the Japanese engines in them.
Well, same thing. Japanese. What do they know?
Right, no, before we get any further into this debate, let's go onto the green flag lap for the Mini F1 sidecars, which are heading out towards the grid now. We'll be getting ready for a start in just a few moments' time.
100 quid says Mick Williams wins this race. That's how confident I am on this one. You watch him break down now as well.
I'm not shaking to that one because I don't have £100 to spend anyway.
Well, I don't, but I know I'm going to get £100 either way, so it don't really matter.
Well, shall we not remind Kiko of the now infamous Ollie Walker moment?
Nah.
We will find that clip and we will play it in tomorrow's broadcast for you, ladies and gentlemen. So, as we get ready for the final race of Saturday, the Mini F1 sidecars head up towards the grid. Mick Williams will be on pole position.
Shock.
And as we get ready for a race start, everyone just piling up, getting that last minute temperature into the tyres. As all of the laughing, sadly not doing Kiko's illness much good, but
it's not an illness, it is a disease. Leave me alone.
So as Kiko will hopefully feel better at the next round, we will wait to see the next race and final race of the day here on Saturday. Mini F1 sidecars, exciting action as ever, getting ready. A good order here on the grid, a good entry, in fact 8 entered for this race meeting, everyone just getting ready. So as we get ready for the race start, not a long run down towards turn number 1, and it is quite a tight one as well, so will they be able to go side by side through there? We'll certainly give it a go. And the rest of the circuit being very tight, quite narrow, a bit of a difficulty on these at times. The green flag is being readied, so green flag being ready, up goes the green flag, drops very quickly as well. And from pole position, a good start for Mick Williams up towards turn number 1 and gets away cleanly. Side by side between Adrian Ems and Mick Lee. That is the difference between the 76 and 44 very close run through turns 2 and 3. Up the inside goes Mick Lee, very squirmy though. 7 laps in this race, and already the 44 giving a hard time to the 76, using a load of curb on the exit was the number 76 of Adrian Ems, who desperately tried to retain third place. Did keep it though, so whilst Mick Williams is heading off towards a potential race victory in this session, it is all up for second place with Mick Lee, the 44, having a good run thus far over the line. Mick Williams in the lead, ahead of Mick Lee in 3.6 seconds ahead of Adrian Ems. Jack Walters, the number 2, a new entry for 2018 in this race meeting, in 4th place ahead of Simon Ibbotson, John Hosker, Mark Parker, with Richard Davies. I don't think it's come over the line as of yet, but so far a good battle for third place between Adrian Ems and Jack Walters, side by side, very wide on the left hand side out of turn number 3, defending into turn number 4. The inside wheel lifts up, and that gifts effectively Jack Walters third place. So Adrian Ems having a bit of a struggle as he does manage to retain his position through the tight left-hander at turn 5. They go side by side, a good run, and Jack Walters does get the position after the second attempt. Jack Walters side underneath Adrian Ems there. I tell you what, that was a harsh race in there, but clean at that. Mick Williams then a 52.5, 2.2 seconds quicker than Mick Lee. Jack Walters, as we said, up to third place. Adrian Ems down to 4th. John Hosker has jumped Simon Ibbotson 5th and 6th there, and Mark Parker 7th place. So battles all the way down the field as Mick Williams cleans off at the front. We've got a bit of contact downfield. That was with Mark Parker and Simon Ibbotson getting a bit feisty down there at the first hairpin. So those two coming together, everything just spreading out a bit now. Adrian Ems goes in pursuit of Jack Walters, who had a problem there, or did he wait for him? It was like waiting for a mate. Well, he got slightly slowed up going into turn number 4, had a bit of understeer in there, so maybe struggled with the pressure, but then now they're back together again. Maybe he just lifted on and said, you know what, I don't want to sit here in second place for the entire race. I fancy having a bit of a battle, so maybe we'll try and catch up as they go through the final corner. Very close between, that's John Hosker and Simon Ibbotson, up towards, that's 5th place in the side by side through turn 7, nose to tail through turn 8, and John Hosker does keep the position. Very, very close stuff. They made it at turn 1, lost it at turn 7. That's almost an entire lap. Should have counted that, but nonetheless, very good battling between Hosker, Ibbotson and Mark Parker as well in there firmly through turns 2 and 3. Very wide for the 127, the quite light machine. And the blue machine looking behind, yeah, right there, up the inside, had a bit of a contact through turn 3, through turn 4. They managed to get through quite nicely indeed. There's a big mark on the front of the number 46 though, so not going to be too happy. We'll have to give it a bit of a shine after this one. Continuing on though, 3 laps left to go. Mick Williams in the lead ahead of Mick Lee to the tune of 10.8 seconds ahead of Adrian Ems. Comes over the line now, and Jack Walters with John Hosker ahead of Simon Ibbotson. Through the line now, almost a three-way battle for 5th place, but 6th place really the one that's under the biggest attack at the moment between Ibbotson and Parker. Parker, half a look at the inside, couldn't quite get it stopped in time. Yeah, big move there at turn 3 as well, Dan. Jack Walters. Yeah, it was. I think Jack Walters and Adrian Ems, yeah, they're back together, so Adrian Ems has took that place back. So, 3rd place, Adrian Ems then. Look, Jack Walters has got a problem there. They're struggling again now at turn 5. It always seems like they're just struggling a little bit there on corner exit. So that has gifted Adrian Ems a 3rd place with 2 laps to go. Well, the transition between turns 4 and 5 and 5 and 6 is quite tight. 5 and 6 is a lot looser than 4 and 5, so maybe they've got a gear selection issue with the one gear, which might explain why they're not just able to quite put the power down enough. Hopefully they can get that sorted, but still a fantastically close battle between 3 and 4. Over the line now, and it's a swap of places for Ibbotson and Parker. And Ibbotson did very, very well to try and defend it over the last couple of laps. Couldn't get it up the inside. Does go for it at turn number 1. They are still nose to tail. Not quite though, and side by side again for third place between Adrian Ems and Jack Quarters. They look one way, they look the other, trying to go on the left side around the outside of the right-hander is the number 2 of Jack Quarters. Adrian Ems does manage to cover it. A very tight line into the second left-hander and using all of the runoff, and a fantastic run for Jack Quarters, who just got a better exit, better momentum, almost though took the position.
They're waiting for each other, that's what I reckon they're doing. They're wanting to put on a show as the last race of the day. So Mick Lee and Mick Williams, second and first in that order. Third is Adrian Ems, who's got a battle on here with Jack Quarters as they go down into turn 1. They are absolutely neck and neck. This is for the last podium position here, and at the moment I think Jack Quarters has got it, but that's only at the moment.
Mick Williams getting very close to the line now, about to take another race victory. Kiko's £100 is safe for now, but
always,
as they come over the line, a great victory for Mick Williams in the 7th race of the year. Second place will go the way of Mick Lee, but will it be 76 or 2? It is currently 76.
Time in Ibbotson, but that closes a day of racing. What a day it's been under the sun here.
Fantastic day's racing at Tattershall in Lincolnshire for the first day of round 3 of 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. Some great racing, we've seen loads of action, 2 more sets of action tomorrow, so what are you expecting to see tomorrow, Kiko?
Close racing, be interesting to see if Sullivan Mounsey in the AC40 Pros will continue his form on. That was good. He got in the way of Mason Foster's championship hopes as well. There's a big 9-point extension now to that championship. It is up to, I think, 24 points now, or 14 points, sorry, the gap between them two. So Sullivan Mounsey brings himself into play as well.